Hey there everybody, welcome back to another one of my budgeting videos. You do not know the willpower that it took to turn off the Christmas music so that I could sit down and record this, but the drive to do the budget on the actual day of payment was stronger than the Christmas music, I suppose, which is weird. Now, usually for me, as long as I get the budget done on the weekend of payday, I'm perfectly fine and I consider it done on time. But this weekend is going to be particularly horrible in terms of things that are happening and the timing, and I honestly could not see anywhere over the entire weekend where I would be able to just sit down and do the budget, let alone record it. So it had to be tonight, which is fine. It's always better to get it on the Friday because then I don't know. I feel better once it's done, even though I have anxiety leading up to doing my budget, because once I know that it's done and where everything's going and how it's working, it's just like a big, deep sigh of relief happens. I don't know if that's just me, maybe being a little bit weird. It's very possible. Let's get into it though. So this is the budget. Great, now I'm losing words. This is the budget for my November the 15th paycheck. So my starting balance in my account is $2,311.85. Oh, I just hit the tripod. I'm so sorry. I can see my phone physically shaking. Very sorry. I'm just going to wait a second for you to stop, because if I try to stop it from shaking, I'm going to make it worse. So the first thing that I'm going to deduct is Striker's money. Striker is my cat who has already come over and lectured me. He doesn't like me sitting in this spot for some reason. Every time I come over here, I have this little nook area in my place, and I set up this table. I've got shelves to one side and a little crawl space with like stationary things, and I made like a cozy little space. I have fairy lights on the ceiling. I love this little nook. He hates me being in this little nook. Every time I come here, he comes over, and it's not like a meowing like I want attention, or like look at me, I'm so cute, or like why are we not cuddling. It's meowing like get your butt out of there, woman. And I want to know what ghost is lingering in this area that he is trying to save me from, because it is quite literally every time I am in here. But having said that, he's already come and lectured me and I didn't move, and now he's sleeping, so I think we're safe for a little bit. So once I take out his money, I have $2,195.62 left. And then after that, I am pulling out my buffer. So my buffer is a combination of my mom gave me some money, and I had a check payout from the insurance company regarding lost wages for a car accident that I was in that I was not at fault. I always feel like I need to clarify that. The guy fell asleep and hit me. I was doing everything by the book. So I had lost wages, and so I got a bit of a payout. So I put that money, as well as the money from my mom, into what I consider my buffer, and I use it for funding my cash envelopes and my sinking funds. Just again, in case you're new. So I pull it out of my main budget, and then I put a little section on its own to like calculate out from the buffer. After that, I'm pulling out half of rent. Why? So $954.34. And the next thing to come out is my SUV payment. That will auto withdraw on Tuesday. Then $60 to my cell phone. I put $60 on my cell phone every paycheck just to stay ahead of the bill so that I'm never behind, because I found that it kept being due at sort of funny times in relation to my paychecks. And so I'm with Virgin Mobile, and if you make a payment but it's maybe not going to process and get to them in time, you can send them like this little notification via the app to be like, hey, it's coming, it's on its way. I guess it's so that they don't turn off your service, maybe. I don't know. So I had to do that quite a few times, and it was never intentional. It was just I would get paid on this day, but my due date for the bill would be too close to it. So I just started putting $60 onto it every paycheck, so that in total over the span of the month, I'm paying a little bit more than what I owe on the bill, and it just sort of keeps me ahead of the game. And it also alleviates my stress around my cell phone bill, which is very important. My Neo bill, $43.21. So my Neo credit card does not carry a balance. Whatever charges are on it, every payday, I pay it off completely. So I don't even wait for like the monthly due date to pay it off or anything like that. It's just, I just pay whatever might be sitting on there every single payday, so it just never carries over. It actually, they like me so much for doing this, I suppose, that they're always like, you don't owe anything. Like they're trying to entice me to not make a payment so that interest will start accruing. Yeah, so I don't ever actually have a due date for the Neo bill. It's really weird. Visa. My Visa, oh, my Visa. Okay. It shows I have a balance of $177.80, but it's also showing a pending charge, and it's also not showing a refund that I have the receipt for that happened last week and was at one point showing in my transaction history, and now it's just disappeared. So I bank with Scotia, and they've been doing like a lot of site maintenance for, I want to say, a week now, maybe a little bit over. So every time I would log in, it would be like credit card and line of credit stuff is being affected, so you may not be able to see it for a short amount of time. And at first I was getting that message, but I was still able to see my stuff and it was okay. And then I logged in, and for about 4 days straight, it's like my Visa card didn't exist. It wasn't there. It didn't even show that it was there or ever had been there. It was just gone. I could still use it, so I could get a refund put on it when I took something back to a store, and I could put charges on it, but I just couldn't physically see it. And I think these maintenance things that they're doing took longer than even they were expecting, because they put up a notification saying that anybody that had due dates in between like a specific date range wouldn't get interest charges and wouldn't get late fees, because like they can't pay the card if they can't see the card in the system. So mine was just gone. Mine didn't get affected by that though, but it's come back, and now it's weird. And things that weren't pending are now pending, and like I said, that return is gone. Like I scrolled back and like that thing is just missing. So I don't actually know if that $177.80 is right or not, but I have no way to figure it out because they're still doing maintenance. So it's all just a big old thing of confusion. And I wasn't going to pay it all. I was going to put maybe a partial payment because the Visa isn't due until the 28th of November. So I don't have another paycheck before it, but I thought give it more time to try to finish processing and their maintenance stuff to get all caught up and figure out what's happening and what is like the actual true amount that I owe. But I don't know, like I don't know what to do with it. It's so strange. So I decided to break my rule of not paying onto the Visa when there's pending charges or pending refunds, just pending anything, and pay it. And then I'm just going to have to keep an eye on it and see what happens, because it's confusing me. So that is putting me down to $406.61. Oh, actually, no, wait, can we go back to the Visa for a second? Because anybody who's been following the videos where I do like Visa/holiday spending updates, you're probably wondering what is going on and why do I have that balance sitting on there. My mom doesn't have Amazon Prime, but when she wants to buy something from Amazon Prime, I buy it for her, and then I send it to her, like I get it delivered to her, and then she pays me back for it. So she was doing a bunch of Christmas shopping sort of via me. And so the charges they're not all hers, like some of them are mine, but it's quite higher than what it would have been if it was just me, because some of the charges are her. So she actually sent me money, and I don't have it included in this budget at all, because she sent it, and then at one point when the Visa finally magically showed up again, I just put the money right onto the Visa because I was scared the Visa was going to disappear again in the app, I mean. So like that, when she sends me money to pay for the Visa, it doesn't get like tracked in this. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know from the payment that I put on for her stuff if that is affecting this and the pending. Like, it's all very confusing. So I'm just going to pay it and we're going to see what happens. And if I end up overpaying the visa and it goes into like a negative, it will be irritating, but livable. It's a livable situation. My line of credit, my minimum payment every month is $409.56. I only have $406.61 left in the account. Now, I have actually already made the minimum payment because when I did my budget for my November 1st paycheck, I did it right there, $409.56 to my line of credit. So anything that I pay over that is really just icing on the cake, I suppose. So what I have decided to do is I'm putting $400 onto the line of credit. It's not the $409.56 that I want it to be, because my goal is to pay off that line of credit as fast as humanly possible. So every paycheck, I want to be making the minimum monthly payment, if at all possible, onto the line of credit. Now, I do have numbers calculated out so that if I can't make the minimum payment, I have the math already figured for what payment to make if I want to pay off the line of credit in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or 4 years. But doing this particular budget, I will explain why instead of taking like the 4-year calculation mark, I got as close to the actual minimum monthly payment as I can. I mean, I suppose I could have done $406.61 and cleared it out, but even I'm not that crazy. But there's like some math magic that's going to happen, and you will see why I'm comfortable getting it so low. It's not a good reason, by the way, but it works for me right now. Okay, so that is the main part of my budget. My bills are getting paid, which is great. So yay, all of that happiness. Now I need to figure out my cash envelopes and my sinking funds, because those are what are going to be deducted from my buffer. So my cash envelope categories, Striker, he is my cat, like I already said. He gets $32.50 every paycheck. Groceries. Now this is actually groceries slash household slash personal items. So if I need shampoo or body wash, toilet paper, paper towels, food, cleaning products, anything that falls under like any of those kind of very broad categories comes out of this budget, or this envelope, I mean. Miscellaneous, 30. Fun, 30. Physio, $31.50. And transpo, $40. So transportation is gas, but it's also car washes, parking, if I need to get an Uber somewhere, stuff like that. So it comes out to $284. And then my sinking funds, there's my SUV insurance, $67. Tenant insurance, I just recalculated it because my tenant insurance, I just paid it, and I'm pretty sure it went up a little bit from last time. So it was $369.12 for the year. I get paid bi-weekly, so 26 paychecks. So it came out to $14.20 needs to be put aside every paycheck. Before I was putting 14, so for right now I've decided to just keep it at 14. I know the 20 cents will add up. Actually, let's see. 26 payments times 20 cents will be $5.20. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to float that. So I'm just going to leave it at an even number of 14 instead of bumping it up to 14.20. And then, I don't know, maybe at some point I'll just like tuck an extra fiver in there if I remember, which I won't, but I'm going to pretend that I will. Tech gets 15. That is a sinking fund for 3 separate things, but I only get so many savings accounts with my bank, and that's where I put my sinking funds in. So that covers my Norton antivirus, my Microsoft 365, and my WordPress account. Dragon Boat is currently getting 0. Dragon Boat is the sport that I partake in. It's off season right now because it's winter, and well, there is winter paddling. I just don't do it because I don't like to be cold and wet at nighttime in the winter. It's just not my deal. So I'm not putting any money aside. Normally this is the time of year where I do fund it quite heavily because then I'm all ready for when the season starts. But to save money in like the sort of daily budget, I'm not putting any in it right now. Haven't for a little bit, and then when tax time comes and I get a tax refund, I'm going to put a lump sum of $300 into there to sort of catch myself up. Travel, $40. Presents, $20. That should really just go directly on the Visa. Emergency fund, it used to be $40. I've lowered it to $20. So 67, 14, 15, 40, 20, 20 is $176. So my buffer has $591.28 in it. So I'm going to take out $284 for the cash envelopes. Leaving me with $307.28. And then I'm going to minus out the $176 for my sinking funds, which leaves me with $131.28. So that is clearly not going to be enough for next payday to cover the cash envelopes or the sinking funds, not even one of them. So I'm taking the buffer and I'm no longer separating it, and I'm adding it back into the regular budget. I really should have started writing these lower down. So it's leaving me in my regular account with $137.89 because I'm combining the leftover money from this budget and the leftover money from the buffer just into one grand total for my checking account now. And so going forward, I won't have the buffer set to the side where I'm pulling the cash envelope and the sinking funds out of. They will be coming out of like this main budgeting section the way that they used to. Like if the buffer hasn't existed for a very long time, it was really just, I was nervous with getting that money from the insurance payout and the money that my mom lent me, that if I just left it in this account, I would spend it. I would know that it was there and see something that I wanted to buy and think, well, what could it hurt? I know I have a couple grand in there that's like extra. I can buy this insert item here. And then the next thing you know, I burned through a whole bunch of the money buying a variety of things. And I say this worried me because it's a thing that I've done. I know that. I get this, oh, I have a little bit of money. It's okay if I go and buy this thing that I see when I'm scrolling online. And then the next thing you know, like those little charges, they really add up. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to waste this buffer that my mom very generously gave me some money for. And with the physical pain of injuries I earned from the insurance company, like I didn't want it to just disappear into the ether. There have been a couple times I did use it to buy specific things. Like I had pulled $100 from it to buy some crates, like some moving crates, because I'm going to have to move soon-ish. And like I have used it for like little things. Well, that's not really a little expense, $100, but I have used it, but I just didn't want to do that on a regular basis. So I pulled it out separate so that when I'd be sitting randomly scrolling on my phone thinking like, oh, I really want to buy this thing, instead of thinking, oh, I've got a couple grand in my account, I'd be going, oh, but I only had like $39 left at the end of the budget. I don't have enough money to buy this random thing, and I don't want credit card debt for this random thing. So I wouldn't buy the random thing. It worked for me. Sometimes I just have to trick myself with stuff like that. And so that trick worked for me. So we're just going to go with it. Yeah, so this is my budget for November the 15th. I think it's not so shabby. It's going to be really painful going forward because the buffer will no longer exist. And I honestly haven't figured out exactly how that's going to work for me yet. I know that next paycheck, if I really don't want to, because November for me has 3 paydays, so if I really don't want to, next paycheck I don't have to make a payment onto the line of credit because I'm already $400 over the minimum monthly payment for November for that. So there is some room there to like lower the payment. I'd rather lower it than not do one at all. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna have a charge sitting on the Visa or not. I mean, there will, sort of, because I'm using an Uber to get to the airport and it's connected to my Visa card. So it will charge there, but that will then get paid out from my transpo from there, from my cash envelope. So that one has been building up. It has like a nice large-ish balance. So that will help pay that out. So, I mean, it'll work. I'm a little nervous for it, but there's nothing to be done for it, so we just have to power through the next couple weeks, get to the next payday, and see what the numbers give me and what I have to work with. I just gotta let it happen. Like, there's a choice. So thank you so very much for sitting with me while I do my budget and figure out the math. I'm really happy, I have to say, about being able to make that line of credit payment, that $400 one. I know I wouldn't be making such big payments on it on such a regular basis if it wasn't for the money from the insurance check and the money that my mom lent me. So I never forget that. I never think that I'm rocking this whole budget thing. I'm very much aware that I'm only able to do something like that because of outside circumstances. And I'm just really grateful, I have to say. So yes, this is my budget. Thank you very much for sitting with me. I think I already said this, but it doesn't matter because I mean it. Thank you for sitting with me while I did this. I hope everybody is having a really great day wherever you are. Your budget, I hope it is going really well for you, especially as we're getting into holiday seasons. I know different people, different holidays, but this time of year tends to be expensive for practically everybody. So whatever it is that is causing an extra strain on your budget, I hope you're doing okay. I will talk to you all in the next video. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.